Here we are with Andy Brethour, Executive Chairman of PMA Brethour Realty. Vast experience throughout North America, representing builders in and around Hong Kong, all over Ontario, San Francisco, and Boca Raton, to name a few. And we're very excited to be working with you on our next new development at North on Bayview, at the corner of Bayview and Elgin Mills. Thanks for being with us today, Andy.
It's great to be with you, Nargues. I'm thrilled to be part of this fabulous Mansouri adventure. It's going to be a great, great project, and we're delighted to be a part of it.
Us as well. The market has never been busier. All segments of the market have been strong throughout 2020 and onwards. Can you tell us a bit about the property value proposition with new builds and why people are drawn to this?
Nargues, it's my feeling that Toronto is an island in North America, quite different, quite distinct from any other major city throughout this continent. It has had both consistent levels of population growth, income growth, and real estate growth. Last 10 years, values have increased 127%. That's well over 12% per year. Consistent, constant movement of real estate value. The consumer recognizes that and sees that very quickly as an investment in pre-construction ahead of delivery. Might be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the line from the time I reach closing. Therefore, I'm going to gain from that consistent movement we've had over these past few years. And North on Bayview sits in one of the great communities of Toronto and will be right at the forefront of that growth.
Tell us a little bit more about the location. So the location of North on Bayview offers buyers a phenomenal opportunity, in my opinion at least. Richmond Hill is a cornerstone community in Ontario. What differentiates this particular location from others and draws buyers to Richmond Hill?
Richmond Hill is a very special place. It's a small town in a great big city. Mm-hmm. It's only 200,000 people within this community, and mostly large single-family housing. Big backyards, big front porches, very classic single-family development. It has become known as sort of the retreat from the big city, the peace of mind from the big city bustle of downtown Toronto. Very close distance to the city via 404, Highway 404, or GO Transit. Really quick in and out, yet it maintains this small community sense. There are 166 parks in Richmond Hill, wow, including the fabulous Richmond Green, a couple hundred acres of ball diamonds and outdoor theaters and festivals. It's really quite a remarkable place. And North on Bayview at Elgin Mills in Bayview sits right in the core of this kind of small town Ontario village sitting in the middle of this great big city. Make for a very wonderful place to live.
I agree. Never before has so much been asked of a home. The importance of privacy and togetherness is a new norm that we've adopted recently. This has resulted in innovation in layouts and amenities. Not only do buyers need larger 3-bedroom product with features for everyone in the family, including spaces for working from home, but also they need places for personal wellness and in-home amenities. Can you talk a bit about this? How has the marketplace responded to this?
Nargues, when the unfortunate COVID calamity hit us in the spring of 2020, there was kind of a collective sense amongst the community that said, I looked around the place I'm living in and I'm out of here. I'm dissatisfied with what there is around me, bigger, smaller, different, whatever that my case might be, the primary motivation to move. But en masse, we decided as a community that we wanted something different or better to satisfy really important, what became very important health and wellness issues and lifestyle issues. And so North on Bayview features a product that by design with the secondary lower level suites, which are quite remarkable, where I can add to my affordability relief by renting a completely furnished suite below, and a opportunity that has both in the amenity package quite substantial attention paid to health and wellness. So all of these things kind of combine to focus our attention at North on Bayview, as you've done so well, to meet those new objectives or those new purpose of people in life and what they were looking for in housing opportunities.
I mean, we definitely spent a lot of time perfecting and fine-tuning those details. Take us through the sales process. Selling new homes is so reliant on technology. Pre-registration systems, CRMs, analytics. They were in place before, but since COVID, it's changed the game. How has PMA navigated this aspect?
The great benefit of this change, it's really quite unusual in many ways, but it's to the consumer, not necessarily the developer or myself as a broker and marketer of new housing. Because we suddenly moved to an appointment process where we were either online, via Zoom, via email, even by phone, it became predominant that we service the consumer in a one-on-one fashion. And probably the greatest benefit then has been we have a far better informed consumer, better educated consumer, more knowledgeable. And when they're making such a purchase like this, what a wonderful thing this has been. This has been a great, great process for the consumer. He's delivered more information today than we would ever do when we open some project with a great line up in a tent and you know, hundreds of people in line. The consumer in those days perhaps spent more time buying a pair of shoes than they did a new home. And in today's process, this one-on-one is absolutely fabulous and just a great, great service to the consumer.
So what are some tips you may have for assisting buyers to educate themselves prior to starting their buying process? Speaking of sophisticated buyers, some tips and tricks. How can they best line themselves up for this opportunity?
We have a motto at the company that says, no one of us is as great as all of us together. And I think of that in terms of the consumer as well. So we're always looking for ways to reach out to our consumer, our broker network, to be better informed. And a more informed and knowledgeable base makes a better decision. So number one, pre-approval of mortgage, like essential. Spend the time as a consumer to go do that. That tells you how much you can afford, both how much a month and what's my end selling price or what do you think I can reach to. Then secondarily, I would create a little Excel spreadsheet and I would call this my want and need chart. And I'd define between my wants and my needs. And I'd put the two on that chart and I'd say, okay, I really want this, but I really need that. And then decide that you know the difference. And if you can differentiate those two, you'll become very, very well informed as you make the steps to move towards this very important decision. It's the biggest decision of most people's lives. And so taking these, just a couple of quick points there for them that they can do better at, and we'll help them with that.
That's a fair point. And, you know, the PMA team is very good at guiding that process as well. Leading to my next question, how does PMA Brethour walk the purchaser through this whole process from finding the right design and also closing on it?
I think it begins immediately with registration. So as we begin North on Bayview's registration format, we will begin our communication network. And we'll start with a very one-on-one approach with the consumer. That will be through all methodology of connectivity, whether it be Facebook or WhatsApp or Zoom or wherever they feel comfortable today. And we'll walk you through the process in real detail and make you feel comfortable that you have everything, all the necessary information to make this decision. And so our whole theory is that if you as a consumer are with us from this point of registration, probably right through to closing, we're not only getting a prospect and a buyer, but in many ways a friend. And then we'll be an advisor to them all the way through that. So as you will have advisors in your family life, in your professional life, we will try to play that role with the consumer as well and be very respectful of their time and their commitment. And that's what it's all about.
Well, thanks so much, Andy. This has been illuminating. We really cannot wait for this next step of the process to start. And I guess on that note, registrations are open. So
Registration's ready to go.
ready to go.
We're ready to start. And I want to just say how delighted we are to be part of the Mansouri family in this adventure. It's a great, great project. The design element, the packaging, the product, the whole feeling of this community. It is a real community that you're developing here. Next to 4 acres of conservation land, magnificent Central Park, and beautifully, beautifully designed spaces. So we're really thrilled to be part of it with you.
Thanks, Andy. Us too.
Thank you.